We can find out a little bit more now. Let's speak to Dr. Makram Rabah, who's a political analyst and lecturer at the American University of Beirut. Thank you very much for your time. Obviously, we know at this point, and Carol just sort of reiterated that to us, very little about what happened, what the cause of this explosion was. Are you concerned about misinformation, unsubstantiated theories that could lead to sort of conflict or unrest spreading? Have you seen any of that?
Well, basically, the way that the government is carrying itself and the way that they are assuring that this was a chemical accident draws a lot of questions. What about Hezbollah and Israel? We were witness to what was happening, and the kind of explosion and the way this explosion erupted indicates that it is beyond just a misstored chemical component. More importantly, people are still asking what was the Israeli Air Force doing over Beirut when this tragedy happened, and more importantly, if it was not a direct military strike, the fact that Hezbollah is in control of the government has led to a kind of decay of all state institutions from the inside, and thus the response to this catastrophe was not up to par. All of these questions are valid, and they are being asked by the people of Lebanon, while the political establishment headed by the Prime Minister is only trying to cover for what remains of this decrepit 18th century political system. All these are valid questions that we need to ask, and we need to reach out to the international community and demand direct intervention, and more importantly, a transparent and international investigation into what really happened in Beirut.
I mean, at this point, investigations are ongoing, and for some of the theories that you've mentioned there is no evidence to support those claims at this point. What we know is that the Prime Minister has said there will be an investigation, and it looks like it was the storage of this ammonium nitrate that had been there for several years that at this point is the leading theory as to the cause of the explosion. Just tell me, if you could, Lebanon is an often divided society at the best of times. Do you think that as a result of this might pull the community together a bit?
Well, the issue of unity of the Lebanese is not up for question now. People are rallying around the fact that they need to be together in order to survive this catastrophe. However, the fact that the ammonium nitrate theory, in my own reading, is kind of a red herring. There was certainly a chemical component in the port. However, the real reason for the explosion is not the chemical component, but rather something else. With the presence of the chemical component, this blast was augmented and led to this serious, to what you see around you right now.
I mean, all I can say is that they've promised an investigation, and at this point, the cause is not known. But thank you very much, Dr. Makram Rabah, political analyst and lecturer at the American University of Beirut. Well, of course, it's been deeply shocking